Let's discuss. Hey everyone, it's Rachel back again with another reaction video, and today I will be checking out a new single from Chelsea Grin. It is called Origin of Sin, and it's taken from an upcoming album. They're actually going to be doing a double LP release, so there will be Suffer in Hell, which will come out in November of this year, on November 11th, and then Suffer in Heaven will come out on March 17th of 2023. So this single is taken from, I'm assuming, Suffer in Hell, and I did Blind Kings and Bleeding Sun. Those came out in 2020, and those were the last singles that we had from Chelsea Grin. I did those on the channel. My channel was fairly new at that point. We haven't had anything else from them since then, so there hasn't been anything on the channel. I did see them live last year, and it was incredible, other than somebody setting off a smoke bomb in the pit. That was an event, but other than that, it was a great show. So Chelsea Grin, all of their social media as well as the music video I'll be reacting to will be in the description. I'm going to stop talking and we are going to get straight into it. Those vocals there. The transition is sneaky.
And so it was written, let's make it of you. Empty balloons, the painted truth. Promises hypnotized, tomorrow moon. We ask for truth, but we're only fools.
Chelsea Grin, Origin of Sin. Let's discuss. A little bit different feeling than the more recent Chelsea Grin stuff with Tom, but I dig this. I think it will be one that's a grower for me as well, but I really like the presence of the synth and like that symphonic feel adding a bit, especially with this music video, feeling like adding a bit to the anticipation, but not in a way that will like, make it affect the song out like without the visuals, if that makes sense. Like sometimes you'll see a music video that has different sounds in it and such than the regular version of the song or something because they're super intense, but this adds to the music video while being a part of the song. Anyway, I thought that was neat, and it definitely, as the song progressed and the music video progressed, that was more of like a present thing for me. But even in the beginning, as that's one of the first like elements really of the song that you're introduced to, I think it's neat the way that's put in there, but then like it almost feels different later in the song, matching up with the rest of like what's going on instrumentally, what's going on in the music video, that sort of stuff. So I thought that was neat. It still has the feel, I think, vocally of like what I would expect from Chelsea Grin for the most part, but it did feel like, I guess like the best way to kind of put it to words for me would be, I'm used to now more with them, like where it dropped for that first verse and it's sort of like a deep groove and a bit slower, more space in the instrumentals. I would expect kind of like chaos off the bat, but it felt a little bit different than that, I guess would be how I would describe the change, because it's not like jaw-dropping, like I can't believe that this is Chelsea Grin, a crazy change in sound or anything like that. It's sort of subtle but noticeable for sure. Being the lead single from the double LPs, which it gives a sense of excitement around like what I was talking about with that synth and the anticipation and stuff, where else that will be present in the album, especially for something that's a double LP. It will be a bit longer if there are more music videos like this that go with it and such, if that will be something present throughout it, because to me that's something that drew a lot of my attention. Otherwise, unsurprisingly, like Tom's vocals, his vocals just continue to get better, and I think in the context of Chelsea Grin over Darko, sometimes it's more towards my taste, because Darko, I love the intensity, the craziness and everything, but overall when it comes to repeat value and such, I don't find myself like waking up first thing in the morning like, all right, I'm gonna put on like, the songs I tend to repeat the most may be heavier in a different sense than like the more chaotic. And we talked about this in a band that's completely unrelated. Like, if you look at the Dillinger Escape Plan, they are nothing like Chelsea Grin, by the way. I'm fully aware of that. But when it comes to that sort of chaos and stuff, a lot of people had that. When I talk about, like, roots on the channel, what people grew up listening to and stuff, if you're adapted really well to, like, chaos in your regular listening, whereas for me, I did a lot of, like, post-hardcore, metalcore, and such with... And I guess more melodic stuff, too. I think that will, like, differ into what you lean on the most in your listening. Not how much you can enjoy a song, because I think, for me, there are even bands that I enjoy a ton but don't listen to all of the time because of, like, that chaos and such. Oh, like with Greyhaven's newest album, where they were a bit more chaotic in their music. I listened to it less than Empty Black for them. I guess that's sort of, like the comparisons I'm trying to draw. So something like this where it's more, I mean, the chaos is still there though, don't get me wrong. It's heavy, it's brutal, it's still got that, like, dosed throughout the song, it feels, but overall it felt like a little bit more of a reliance elsewhere, if that makes sense. And I really dig that for my taste and such. I think those are the tracks I end up revisiting more. Like, if you have an album that's like partially chaotic and partially tracks that are more like of a deep groove, and I guess on the melodic side I'd probably lean towards that in a deathcore sense. I mean, I think it's too hard to make a general blanket statement like that because it can differ so much band to band, but on the topic of deathcore, when it comes to that stuff, because like my favorite heavy bands, Distinguisher, Left to Suffer, if you really listen to those bands and what elements are big for them, I think that an easy conclusion to draw, probably. But anyway, regardless, I do think, though, that Bleeding Sun has been just my favorite thing that they've done recently, and I'm not sure what it is about that track. I'll have to listen in comparison, but this still has me very excited for this next chapter, the double LPs. As I mentioned, the things that I'm looking forward to, I'll very much be looking forward to. It has that level of kick that I'm looking for, and like workout playlist-ness to it, while at the same time it was a little bit different than what I had been expecting from them. So music video and such will be in the description. I'll do some revisiting to this, but I still, even though I made that like comment about I don't wake up in the morning first thing and like on repeat with more chaotic stuff, I don't think that this will be like, 10 times a day driver, but this will be something I revisit a good amount, especially for, I think, Chelsea Grin, because their newer singles have been my most listened to in their discography for the most part lately. That used to be different before Tom joined the band, but lately those newer singles have been. So just excited to see what this double LP will be about. I'm going to stop rambling now. As I mentioned, any sort of merch pre-orders I can find for the double LPs, they will be in the description. Other than that, you can also find my Linktree, which will have the invite for the Discord server that I talk about in every single video. We've got music-related conversation unrelated to music, like games and pets and such, just sort of a busy community. So if you're interested in coming to join, check that out. That will be there, as well as my Instagram profile link, where I do post all music related content. I post a chart every Friday of what I've listened to the most over the course of the week. I post my never ending merch collection. I will post if I've been to shows recently and have a picture, videos, or whatever to share from that. I'll post that sort of stuff. So my handle on there is the same as my YouTube channel. It is Rachel Reacts, but again, it will be in that link tree in the description if you have any interest in following me. As always, thank you very much for watching. I appreciate it.